Off of Emily's live, so that's why we're starting a little later than expected. Welcome and take your seats in the Hogwarts class of divination. Okay. Today I wanted to sort of continue the conversation over on Emily's live with Mary Magdalene. And so I keep finding eggs. Like, this is from Easter, the fake eggs. But I keep picking them up as I clean the past couple days, so I'm like, oh, okay, Mary Magdalene theme I feel is coming up. So it's fitting that she was talking about Mary Magdalene, and her meditation this morning was calling in Mary Magdalene, and so I did the meditation. It was really lovely. And I also have the Megan Watterson deck, Oracle deck and book about Mary Magdalene revealed. It's very wonderful. Highly recommend it. And so we're going to connect with Mary Magdalene today, and I already connected ahead of time and asked her if she wanted to do a rabbit hole. She said yes. It was a pretty intense one, which surprised me. And so because I don't trust myself that much yet, we're going to have y'all pick it as well and see if you get the same one. Because part of me regrets ever picking up the Awakening poster for these lives, because I'm like, oh God, all the topics that they keep picking are like really intense, darker ones, which I always thought they wanted me to stay on the light, love and light side of things. So it surprises me every time. But anyway, but since it's exploring it with her, I feel like it's going to be extra special. And so I had her pick cards. And so again, we're going to see if you guys get confirmation on your rods about the same cards and things like that. Thank you, Goldie. And so yeah, we're going to be connecting with Mary Magdalene today, Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. And let me see if I can pull up a picture. Nope. Yeah, Emily shared one. Hey everyone. So welcome. I hope you're having a magical Sunday. I definitely am. We had a wonderful dance party last night in the Discord. Hello, DJ Bruce. And so DJ Bruce was a Discord DJ, and it was so wonderful. It was like kind of Bollywood themed to go with the Hindu theme that we're moving through the Pantheon. So it was really awesome. Thank you so much, Bruce. And I feel great physically. I had like a weird hip. I was like, oh God, I'm very conscious of my hip all day yesterday. And then after the dance, I'm feeling right as rain. Just had to dance it out. When in doubt, dance it out. Okay, so today, like I said, for those who are logging in, we're going to start class. And I'm going to choose for us to connect with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene today and see if she wants to pick a rabbit hole from the Awakening poster. And so, let's begin. We're going to start with, I already lit my candle, so please make sure you do that. I'm going to ring the bell. I demand release from all control, communication, and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. I demand release from all control, communication, and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. I demand release from all control, communication, and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. Okay. We're going to do the white light pyramid. So everyone close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. I want us to imagine a bright ball of white light that comes down from Source into the room that you're in, where it floats above your head and slowly seeps in through your crown chakra, where it moves down your chakras and finds its place in your heart space and anchors in and starts to pulse and expand until your entire body is filled with this beautiful shimmering white light. And as it continues to expand, it takes on the form of a white light pyramid that completely surrounds your body, with the peak about 20 feet above your head and the 4 points touching the ground. And I want you to imagine a beam of light that shoots down from Source through the tip of your pyramid, through all of your chakras, down through the base, where it continues on to connect to the center of the earth. And now I'd like you to, if you'd like, you can imagine another beam of light that shoots forward from your heart space and connects to my pyramid, so that we're all synchronized and harmonized together with Source and Earth frequencies. And within this white light pyramid activated, we are completely protected, and we only allow truth, love, and wisdom to enter. And then you can ask Source or your higher self to send a physical confirmation signal to let you know the white light has been activated. Oh, I just got a foot twitch. That's something. Usually it's nothing that I sense, but always ask. And they continue to assure me that I'm receiving something, I'm just not sensing it yet. But repeated practice and asking for that signal, hopefully I will start to sense it regularly. Okay. Drink your water. We just done our white light shield. Light candles are lit, so we are officially starting our practice and ready to connect, so grab your tools. And today I wanted to connect to Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. Like I said, I keep finding eggs. I've been cleaning up the house this morning and I keep picking up eggs. And then Emily Eaton came online and did her meditation, and when she called in Mary Magdalene, because she just finished off her French Paris retreat, where she went to the caves, the cave where Mary Magdalene lived. So it seems fitting. We did a meditation this morning calling her in, so I was like, I'm just going to carry it forward. We're going to have a Mary Magdalene day. And I asked her if she wanted to pick a rabbit hole. She said yes. It was kind of a crazy one, so I'm secretly hoping she picks a different one with y'all, but we'll see. We'll see. So let's call her in. All right. I would like to connect today with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. When you're here, please cross the rods. Thank you. Okay. Am I connected to Ascended Master Mary Magdalene? Yes. I think I'm touching the bottom of the... I feel clumsy today. I don't know why. I feel different. Am I connected to Ascended Master Mary Magdalene? Yes. Okay. And am I only connected to Ascended Master... Am I only connected to Ascended Master Mary Magdalene currently? Yes. Okay. Okay. And Mary Magdalene, do you have a rabbit hole on my awakening poster you want to explore today? Is there a rabbit hole you want to explore? Yes. Okay. We're gonna dive in together. I'm not gonna tell you which one I think she picked at all. So this is the Great Awakening poster. I have the huge version, and we're going to divide it into 4 quadrants and ask quadrant by quadrant if that's the one that has the topic that she wants to explore. So we start with, thank you, Soul Riser. Okay. Am I connected to Mary Magdalene? Am I still connected to Mary Magdalene? Yes. Okay. Is the rabbit hole in quadrant 1? Okay, that's what I got the first time, too. But I got other ones, too, so I feel like it's an intersection, so we'll see. So if you get more than one, don't panic. I feel like sometimes they overlap. Okay, is this in quadrant 2? No. Okay, is it in quadrant 3? I get a yes. Is it in quadrant 4? No. So is it overlapping quadrant 1 and 3? Yes. Okay. And so quadrant 1 and 3, what's overlapping it is like a really massive circle, the secret space program. So let's ask if it's that massive circle that overlaps. You got 1 and 2? Anyone else? Because I'm getting, is it in quadrant, does it overlap quadrants 1 and 2? I keep getting no. But let's ask. So is the topic you wanted to cover the secret space program? And it's connected to a few other circles that are also in quadrant 1. Did you want me to mention any of those? Okay, so the secret space program is got an arrow that connects to the Dark Fleet. And you want to discuss that too. This is why I was like, what? I hope y'all get a different answer because, what? I asked her to align with you. So I ask again, is this for the highest and greatest good for humanity and for myself to explore the topics of the Secret Space Program and the Dark Fleet with you today, Mary Magdalene? I get a yes. So does everyone get a yes on that? Anyone getting a no? Is there any other bubble or topic that you want me to mention today? No. Okay. So those are the two main topics you want to cover today. Yes. Okay. So I was just like, Mary Magdalene. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What? This topic? And then so I was like, okay, every time I'm like confused, I don't hear or see, so I go to the cards. And so I pulled a card, and from her deck, the Divine Feminine deck, Megan Watterson. Look, she's holding an egg. Okay. And I got this card. I can't even pronounce her name, but the Mystic of Peace. Okay? It's a Chinese name. And so I was like, okay. I guess I'm limited with the meanings of this card deck because it's all going to be women with stories. So we'll see how this connects to this topic. So, the Mystic of Peace. I am peace when my mind is clear, the way is clear. So, Zhu Zhangjing embodies the unwavering tranquility that exists deep beneath the turbulence of our daily thoughts. She was a 12th century Taoist, mystic, and poet, and the night before her son's birth, she had a dream that she was immersed in a red mist. It's ZHOUXUANJING. It's mirrored, but so she had a dream. Let's see. She had a dream that she was immersed in a red mist. This was a very auspicious sign in Chinese culture. The title given to her as a master was Free Human of Mystic Peace. The emphasis in her poetry was the power inherent in stillness. The secret of the receptive, she writes, must be sought in stillness. The way, or Taoism, is a spiritual practice of clearing the mind so that when we take action, it isn't from the ego, it's from the source of life itself. The pedestal of awareness is steady as a boulder. She taught that meditation allows us to disengage from the surface drama the ego can invite us into. She often refers to the moon in her poetry because this was the symbol of the eternal sky, or the freedom we can reach if we stop looking at the light and shadow the moon casts and see the moon itself. So very cool. It says when you pick this card, it says Albert Einstein reportedly said that when we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them, clarity only comes from clarity. There is a peace and calm that exists far beneath the constant banter most of us listen to all day within our minds. It's the river beneath the river. It's the steady flow of the universal life force that wants us to reach our goal if only we can get it still enough to merge with it. Doing nothing in Taoism, it's called Wu Wei, is a sacred feminine art of trusting the force of life that exists within us all. Zhao mastered this spiritual practice by calming her mind and experiencing the still center that's the eye of every storm. She calls for us to be still, to do nothing other than shift our awareness. Come out of the current state of mind we're in before making any moves or decisions. She reminds us that we only want to take action when what is moving us is the force of love at the heart of everything. Very, very cool. And the mantra that she says to repeat is I am peace. So I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me in why, because I actually pulled that card before we picked the rabbit hole. So when I pulled that card, I was like, okay, I feel like you'd only pull that card if what you're about to have me talk about is like really alarming. And she was like, I was like, is what you're about to have me talk about alarming? Yes. I was like, why? Like, why all the time now? And so, yeah, we are going to, I feel like that card is like, listen, we're about to be exposed to some heavy truths on a worldwide scale. You know, this Epstein stuff is the tip of the iceberg. And like, I know that, and I said this before, but I know many of us out here who have done a lot of these rabbit holes on our own research, you know, we think we know what's at the end, but as you've been following along the last few lives, we're slowly learning that the web, the story, extends so much further and deeper than we are aware of. And so, you know, it's funny because here I am exploring rabbit holes, but in the end, Mary Magdalene's message is truly that none of that shit matters. Because ultimately, each of us is experiencing our own reality, yes. And there is, like, the message about the stillness is very literal. Like, there's so much stimulus out in the world that's like telling you, you gotta do this, or else this, or else this. But like, if we were to really ignore that and be in the moment right now, we would realize I'm safe. Like, in this now moment, I actually have everything that I need, and all the fears are purely projectional. Like, it's actually, I'm okay right now. And if I'm not okay, like, there's something wrong with the situation, because I can always find stillness. Like, we're learning in channeling that when you're channeling with a being, a red flag is if they start telling you to do things with a sense of urgency. Like, think of it like, you know, like, when I think of, like, the schizophrenics we see on TV, those people are often people who hear voices that are telling them to harm themselves, harm others, or else, they start to believe whatever. And, like, I feel like a lot of those cases are actually the same type of situation of, like, trickster entities messing with people, who aren't aware they're spiritually open. And so, I don't know where I was going with that, but basically, red flag when channeling is the urgency. And it's the same thing when you're in a real life like in your waking life scenario, and you come to a situation where someone's like, you have to do this or else. It's like, that's the exact moment you need to pause. Like, you're in a video game and be like, boss battle, you've just walked into one. You didn't even realize. Pause. What is happening here? Whose authority? Like, whose authority is telling me I have to do this? And start to question. Because I feel like we're all about to be put into scenarios in which people are confused, right? And they're telling you, they're repeating things that they've heard. They think they know what's going on. There's confusion, there's fear. It's going to take a lot of willpower and mental stillness to walk this next phase. Even though so many of us have been excited about it, of all this truth coming to light and these big changes, it's really going to require us to dig deep, to really find our calm, knowing that everyone else is going to be really struggling to do so. So, do you have for a timeline? I don't know what you mean by that question. Did I miss any questions? No, okay. Alright guys, so let's see. I had a little Mary Magdalene rods practice with that topic. And so, is that the purpose of that peace card? Is that you want us to remember that even though we're approaching these dark topics, that we still have, like, agency. Yeah. So I don't know. Hey guys, hey cool. Okay, so the Mystic of Peace card, and you know that the Dark Fleet Circle, the Secret Space program, it's all connected to the same side that connects to the Ancient AI, which is up here. Ancient AI connects to the sun, which connects to all of this Dark Fleet, which includes the Draco Reptilian Alliance. It talks a lot about human SLAVE labor and, like, trafficking, which is interesting because of all the stuff that's coming up in our current events. Feels like the tip of the iceberg of a macrocosmic situation that we're seeing play out on the microcosm stage of Earth. Weird. But not that weird. If you were following the Ancient AI, we'd realize that Earth is super special, because we're learning that Earth is like the final countdown. It's like a final battlefield quarantine zone of this I call it the nothing, ancient AI consciousness, which the board claims is like trillions of years old and comes from a different universe, time and space, yeah. And it basically, like the nothing in the never-ending story, it just consumes, it dominates, and it just infects. And to me, I view it as the literal, if it is it's like almost like if God exists and the nothing is like a weird shadow aspect attempting to be God, by forcing people into the illusion of separation from God, then technically the nothing is like the Antichrist technology or consciousness. Yeah. So then it's like, oh, then the Antichrist or anti-unity consciousness is like the nothing. It's like this expanding, virulent consciousness. Weird. And we're finding out that it's part of the Earth story here too. Mm-hmm. All the way connecting back to Atlantean times and our unwritten, unrecorded history. And so if that's interesting to you, please go back and watch our videos. We've been sort of piecing together this jigsaw story for a while. So, very cool. And so Mary Magdalene is really wanting us to bring forward the peace. Not so that we have to avoid the darkness, because that's not the thing. Mary Magdalene was never about avoiding darkness. She was about going right through it, facing it, but without being consumed by it. That's the most important detail. And that's where those of us empaths really struggle the most. Right, because we want to help people, we want to fix people's problems. But we forget that people came here to Earth to struggle and learn. We all did. And helping isn't the same thing as preventing others from struggling. So, another little elder sister wisdom to share. Do our beloved pets stay with us? Or, why did I get like weird violations? Do our beloved pets stay with us or cross over when they pass? Do they have a choice? That's an interesting question. We've covered it in the past, but I'll quickly say yes. Our pets, our beloved pets, do stay with us. Yes. It is their choice to stay with us. Yes. But it's also you can request. Yeah. And then, of course, you meet up at the end. So it's never goodbye. It's always a see you later. Yeah. And if you ever want to get into divination, you can totally connect with your deceased pets by connecting through Gaia and asking her to bring them in. So I have done it. It was very healing. And I always know my little R2-D2 is always around me, my little chihuahua. And yes, our pets do protect us. Many of us are soul mates in a way, or soul family. It's pretty cool. Okay, where was I? So she wanted to talk some dark stuff, which was pretty surprising, but like I said, she wants to face the dark. And so then I was like, I'm reading all this stuff, and it's, very connected to the Epstein file, dark stuff, and I'm sure it's, but I'm sure it's all connected, as like, is it just a microcosm of what is going on in the universe? Yes. And to me, it feels like the macrocosm of this slavery domination system is the exact reason why the Galactic Federation was formed. Yes. You had to band together to take on a common enemy. And yeah, and as we're learning, Earth is the quarantine zone of this infectious nothing consciousness that they have hunted down to eradicate, which I think is so cool. Makes Earth extra special. And so I was like, okay, Dark Fleet, all this stuff, it's probably all connected to this dark human trafficking stuff we're hearing about on the global level here. And so I was like, whoa, Mary Magdalene, again, why are you making me talk about this dark stuff? How is this helpful? And I was like, do you want to pick another card? And she was like, yes. I was like, okay. So I picked another card, and I got Rabia, the Queen of Saintly Women. Okay, she's a Muslim woman, Rabia. And I was like, okay, what could she possibly mean with this? And so her quote is, "I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move." Okay. So Rabia represents a rare, pure love that doesn't seek anything other than simply to love. She was one of the most influential Sufi women in Islamic history. She is a Muslim saint and a Sufi mystic who lived in the 8th century in Basra, present-day Iraq. On the night she was born, her father had a vision of Muhammad. He told him, "Your newly born daughter is a favorite of the Lord and shall lead many Muslims to the right path." When Rabia was still a little girl, her father died and she was then sold into slavery. She would pray every night to be released so that she could spend the hours of her day in service of Allah, the Arabic word for God. When her master overheard her prayers and saw that she was illuminated with light as she prayed, he realized she was a saint. He released her immediately. She went into the desert and worshipped in solitude. She became known as the Queen of Saintly Women because of the purity of her love and devotion to God. She set forth the doctrine of divine love, known as the Ishq-e-Hakiki. Her poetry emphasizes her desire to worship for the sake of loving Allah and not for personal gain. In one of her poems, she says, "I carry a torch in one hand and a bucket of water in the other." She wants to set fire to heaven and put out the fires of hell, so that love seeks no gain except to be in service of love itself. She explains, "I do not want to worship from fear of punishment or for the promise of reward, but simply for the love of Allah." So when your soul selects her card, it says that her lifetime embodied a freedom that divine love offers us. If we see her life as a metaphor for the soul's progression, she went from slavery to sainthood by devoting herself to God. Her only concern was the love that she could give God, and every action motivated by that devotion, and through it she received the greatest spiritual gift, self-realization. Although it can be difficult, loving without expectations is a profound spiritual practice. So it's very interesting. Prayer should bring us to an altar where no walls or names exist. Okay. Very interesting that the story had slavery in it when we're literally talking about the Dark Fleet and all this kind of dark agenda stuff, which is all about slavery. And it just goes to show, again, I feel like it's Mary Magdalene's reminder to us of, like, it's very easy to look at these stories from the perspective we're used to them, right? And see us as victims, as purely victims, right? And like powerless victims. But it's so interesting because, you know, you don't know what part of that story is necessarily real, but it just goes to show that, you know, and this is a hard pill to swallow at times when we remember that each of us signed up for the lifetime we're here to experience. Like, yeah, some details can change due to free will and things like that, but like the main core of the story is like predetermined. So that really sucks to hear when you're in the middle of a lifetime where you're really struggling and you've been through a lot of heinous cruelty. That's one of the hardest things to tell people. It's like, yeah, well, on a weird soul level, you came here to do that, which makes you a total badass, but that's not really helpful when you're telling someone, like, you're in it now, and I'm sorry. But, yeah, so it's just very interesting because in that moment, that story, her living true to her authenticity, like, made it obvious to the people around her and altered the timelines, altered the story that she was a part in. It went from she wasn't just a slave, but she changed the story from within. And I feel like Mary Magdalene is mentioning that to us because that's exactly what we're doing right now. Each of us awakened souls, you know, we are literally here to change it all. Many of us were born into families with a lot of dysfunction. Yeah. We came here to end generational trauma, heal, and ask the holy grail of questions, which is what the caterpillar with the pipe always asks Alice. Who are you? It is the most important question you need to be asking yourself. I remember when I first started asking myself that question, and it was really sad because I was spending so much of my life focused on the people around me that I felt didn't really know me. But once I started changing my perspective and realizing I don't really know me, it changed everything. And I was like, why am I seeing it as like they don't know me? I don't know me. And as soon as I started getting to know me, what is my favorite color? I'm going to buy something in that favorite color purely because I want it. Like, old me would have never done that. Once I started living with myself, my joy as the center compass for all my choices, I'm telling you, my world opened up big time. Big time. So I feel like this is the thing. We need to look into the dark, because the dark is about to be bubbling up and we're going to have to face it. But it's important to look at it with this realization that we are more strong than we've been led to believe. And so this is the end. We're approaching the end of all of those vicious cycles, I want to say. The vicious cycle. You know? Where this nothing energy is, it's done. And I always wonder, like, does it know that it's done? I get a yes. And so we are on the timeline in which we are set to experience the giant solar flash, 5D awakening, Gaia shift, yes. In which motherships reveal, yes. It's like, but in the meantime, you know, all these past couple lives have been hinting to the fact that it might get a little dicey. I feel like y'all have been hinting it might get a little dicey out there. You know, a lot of people confused and worried, emotional, highly emotional. Yeah. And so it's going to need us to that first card, to find our inner peace, our inner stillness more and more so. Because I just feel like something big is about to drop. Like something big news is about to drop. And I know we've been saying that a lot, but it really does feel like it's really closer than ever. So yeah. We shall see. And yeah. And so it's like, no, you know, all these topics of slavery, it's really that we need to realize that that slavery is the illusion. And what's interesting is, like, so many of the dark fleet we're learning are slaves themselves. And I think that's true for even on, like, you know, on, like, demonic and dark entity level. Yeah. I've heard that too. It's like, so many of that stuff is literally hierarchical, slavery-type patriarchal systems in which, like, just like here, the lowest on the totem pole are being exploited. Yeah, undervalued. And so they're perpetuating systems they don't even realize are crushing them. And so it's not so easy to look at it as like, you know, good versus evil. It's going to be complex. But those of us ready to face it all, face to the truth, and stay, you know, try and stay a person of peace and calm throughout it, like, we are going to make it easier and faster for everyone to get to the cooler parts after the ooh parts. It took you half of your life to say I love myself. Now I'm proud of myself. I feel my way. Yes, I know. You know, remember that Zoe Saldana, that actress, she did like an interview a couple years ago in which she was like, I love myself. I love the way I make mistakes. I love the way I learn from my mistakes. when I heard her say that video, it triggered me. I was mad. And I was not a healed person at that point. And I remember being like, who does she think she is? And it actually catalyzed a big awakening for me, because I was like, why does it make me so mad that this person is really confident in who she is? And then I was like, oh, because I'm not. I'm insecure in who I am. I don't really like who I am. Why? And it was like, starts to go unravel, like, because my mom didn't like who I am, and da-da-da-da. And so then you're like, okay, the why doesn't matter. It's what now. I'm going to intentionally love myself. And it changes all your relationships with everyone else. Everyone else. Even the ones you thought never would change. Trust me. Okay. So, we're going to talk a little bit, ask some kind of spicy questions about the Dark Fleet, because even though I don't always love talking about it on live, these are topics I do love talking about with my friends. And the spicier the better. They probably are actually all annoyed with me because of how often I'm like, so Antarctica, in the middle of a conversation. Anyone? Anyone? But I always want to ask and be like, it's just so interesting. Like, when you start talking about it, and then you start to ask, like, so why do you think Google Maps censors this giant space in Antarctica? What do you think they could be doing? And then it's like, my husband's always Googling it. He's like, well, it says that, I don't know what the Google explanation is. I don't know. Something like it's protecting us from some, I don't know. It's some BS. And my husband's like, that's what it says, Dale. I'm like, okay, well, it's my little, Antarctica is always a great icebreaker. Okay. So, and if, another little funny story, if you haven't seen the movie, it's called Iron Skies. The week I was learning about the Dark Fleet and the reptilian stuff and the Nazi stuff and Antarctica stuff, all being linked, and moon-based stuff, all of that stuff, I was like having kind of a hard day and being like, I just need to turn my brain off. I've been learning too much crazy stuff. I just need to turn my brain off. So I got into the tub and I went to go pick like just a random sci-fi movie. It's called Iron Skies, and it's all about Nazis on the moon and in the inner Earth and all this like wacky stuff and Antarctica and all this and reptilian. And I just had like a moment where I was like, is this the Truman Show? Of all the movies I just click play on, this is the one. Like, I just couldn't believe it. But now those moments are a part of my life where I'm like, we are really having a Truman Show moment. Except, I try not to think of it as creepy. Sometimes my mind does wander there. But, no, it's like our team watching is our team. It's our spirit guides. It's our angels, our dragons, our higher selves. It's a whole gang. It's a cohort all of us have. And so whenever you hear them say, like, you're not alone, like they're being super literal. You just can't see them, or most of us can't see them. But trust me, they've told me that like if we could actually see how many angels exist in the world, it'd be more than people. We would see them in like a crowded city square. There'd be more angels than people in that little square. Is that correct? Yes. So it's very busy in the unseen. No personal questions. This is just a group practice where we all practice using our rods. And today we're connecting with Mary Magdalene, and she wanted to talk about some dark stuff. And so I want to ask, is it true that there are secret operations, underground facilities located in Antarctica? Yes, that was a fast yes. And are these facilities connected to Nazis? Getting a yes. I don't know exactly what this operation is, but I'm going to ask. Is there truth to the conspiracy theory known as Operation Paperclip? I get a yes. It says it was connected to aerospace development. I'm assuming, is this connected to like reverse engineering? Okay. So, is there truth to that? There is alien technology in Antarctica. And that was answered. The answer way before I finish. So, alien technology in Antarctica? Yes. Okay. And, I also love talking about inner Earth. And I know that the censored hole, look, they're already saying yes. The censored hole in Antarctica on Google Maps, is it because there is an actual hole there? I get a yes. Like an entryway. Yes. And I've heard that hole is large enough for like a pretty large spaceship to come through. Yes. And, I guess because it's a no-fly zone, because we're, according to the government, they're protecting us from like turbulent winds on that one particular stretch of land, that they have a lot of scientific treaty zones, but no fly zones, Totally kosher, totally kosher. No need to put your attention here. I just think it's so funny. How are we still falling for it? Okay. And so, I've even heard, is it true that these places in Antarctica are even guarded astrally? Yes. But is it true that remote viewers such as Elizabeth April have accessed it? Yes. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. But don't be trying to remote view there as if you're practicing and a beginner. That would be my recommendation to you. Let's see. And so I want to talk again about going to this idea of the star seeds and us, shifting into our power to dismantle this. As we're exploring these darker themes, it's easy to get sucked up into it, but the important thing to realize is like, everything is tied to this awakening and the transformation that we're going through. And all of that, the flash of light associated with it, is literally meant to eradicate all the things that I've just listed today. The dark fleet, the ancient AI, nothing. It's like all that stuff is, I don't know exactly, but in my mind it's like vaporize, like will not be allowed to exist on this bandwidth. Like it just feels like an incompatible code cannot function here. I don't know. But either way, big changes on the horizon. And so while we are being exposed to all the dark stuff that is going to be emerging, I feel like this is the main message of Mary Magdalene today, is remember the power of your stillness. Because it's like in that stillness, first of all, you can pause. There's a tree, a story called the kapok tree or kapok tree. And I think of it all the time because it's like, it very much is, it reminds me of a dream I had. And it made me realize how dreams and waking life are very similar, except in dreams, it's a lot more intense and the urgency is a lot more life or death, whereas in waking life, it's not so much life or death, even though your body is functioning as if you're being chased by a cheetah, but you've only been found out that you have a test on Friday. But you know what I mean. So that book is interesting because it shows this man who's being ordered by his boss to cut down this ancient tree. And he's about to do it, like following orders. And before he does it, he starts getting sleepy and he takes a nap. And during that nap, he's visited by all the spirits of the forest and that tree. And they're like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. It's our home, all these things. When he wakes up, he's like, that's weird. Oh well, and starts to chop down the tree. And as he's about to do it, he feels like maybe there was something to it. Like that was more than just a dream. And he decides, I'm not going to do this. Who says I have to cut down this tree? And he puts the axe down and leaves. And it just goes to show that we have power to take agency. There's so many people. When we think of the stormtroopers, the evil empire, we realize that the stormtroopers are just following orders. It always makes me think of, I've mentioned him before, the president of Rwanda. He's really interesting to me, and I think of him as, would you consider him like a divine, masculine leader? Yes. Who's very, would you say he's matriarchal? He reminds me of King Arthur in energy, in a way, because he has some really out-of-the-box ideas for some issues that they're dealing with. And one of the issues that I love how he managed was Rwanda was having a major poaching problem with the guerrillas. And, of course, old framework of thinking is imprison those poachers forever, you know? Jerks. Why are they doing that? And the president instead was like, I'm going to try something different. And he realized that they were just men trying to feed their families, desperate men, willing to do anything, and ashamed of having to do that, but like feeling they had no choice. And so he gave them a choice. And he said, how about I pay you to protect the gorillas and the forest instead? And they said, yes, of course, because they're not truly evil men. They're desperate and afraid. And what's really magical about that whole thing is you could actually go and book like a tourist excursion through the Rwanda forest. And one of these used to be poachers, now rangers, will probably be your guide. And they're so close with the beings they used to hunt that they have their own language together. It was really beautiful. And it really just goes to show what one choice to flip the script and say, I'm going to approach this problem with love instead of judgment, instead of eye for an eye mentality. Because we are done with the blind. We've been blind leading the blind for so long. It's time to see. And that it's never as clear as evil or good. Ever. Ever. And on top of that, none of us, all of us are living in glass houses. Yes. Maybe not in this lifetime, but we're learning that, and we've asked this before, like, have I had a lifetime in which I've done things that may have classified me as villainous? Yes. Have I done things that might classify me as a super villain level destruction? Yeah. It's like, so none of us are really, we've experienced it all. We're multidimensional. We've experienced the good, the bad, and everything in between. So none of us come out of here without learning that, without realizing we have done it all. We're here to experience it all. And so, yeah, you know, us starseeds, we're here specifically on Earth, Team Earth, Captain Planet time. It's about to get, it feels a little bumpy, about to dial up the heat a little bit. And so therefore, it's going to be more important than ever to finalize and make habits of daily grounding meditation practices, of stillness, you know. And we've learned in the past, it doesn't even have to be like sitting still. It can, like, meditations can be cleaning the house. It can be yoga, walking, like anything. It can even be like, my mom, I used to remember growing up, I would see her like, I mean, you might call it like a stim, but she would always like fold, she would go through magazines and fold the corners of it, like weird origami. And she would do this a lot. And like, even that is like a form of meditation. Because it's like, meditation is just a word, a verb that is something that allows you to reach that flow state. Yes. And so keep that in mind. Find your flow state. Find what gets you there. And just so you can center yourself, because there's about to be some decentering moments in the collective as well as individual, I feel like, yeah. And so it's going to be more important than ever to be like, I think of it as like stop, drop, and roll. Except it's stop, center, and breathe. And react from love. Instead of fear. If you're making a choice out of fear, then it's probably the wrong one. Yeah. And so getting yourself into that mentality of like, okay, I'm afraid. Pause. What is making me afraid? Whose authority? What rules am I under? Start investigating, discern, because it's going to be more important than ever. Yes. Okay. And I have a really cool meditation today with the theme of the cosmic egg, since I keep finding the egg with Mary Magdalene. And she's even pictured on the front of this with an egg. I think the story goes, it's that after the crucifixion, I believe Mary Magdalene tried to go to Roman king or some leader and appeal, and showed him an egg, and I think that's how it's not the true story. It hasn't been told correctly, yes, but she was famous for being tied to this egg in the story. Yeah. But the egg is really about creation. It's like the womb space of creation is really what it represents. Mary Magdalene is all about the womb, sacred sexual energy, creative energy, and creating your life story. Being the writer, creator, actor in it. Okay, so let's do that meditation. And Ascended Master Mary Magdalene, will you be present for the meditation and help with the activation? Yes. Did you want us to sit in that energy in the egg for 2 minutes? Okay. We'll do 2 minutes. All right, let's see. All right. Let me drink my water. All right. Everyone close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the world beginning to soften around you. The noise grows distant, the weight of the day loosening its grip. And above you now, far above the crown of your head, a radiant cosmic egg begins to appear. Luminous, pearlescent, swirling with soft gold, moonlight silver, rose opal, and starlight. It hums softly like a forgotten song from another lifetime. The air around you is warm and sacred. And beside you now, Mary Magdalene appears quietly, a mystic guide, a keeper of the hidden flame within the heart. Her robes move like flowing silk beneath the moonlight. Her presence carries the stillness of desert temples, ancient libraries, candlelit sanctuaries hidden beyond time. Without speaking, she extends her hand toward the glowing egg, and you understand this is not just an object. It is a sanctuary of becoming, a womb between worlds, a sacred chamber where consciousness remembers itself. You step forward, and as you enter the cosmic egg, the shell of light closes gently around you. Instantly, everything becomes quiet, not empty, alive, like floating within the heart of creation itself. The walls shimmer with galaxies. Golden symbols drift like constellations across the inner surface. Ancient geometric patterns pulse softly with intelligence and grace. And beneath your feet, there is no ground. You are suspended weightlessly within warm, starlit waters, safe, held, protected. Outside the egg, the great storm of the world continues, but here, none of it can reach your center. Mary Magdalene now places one hand softly over your heart, and from her palm, a warm golden flame begins to glow. Not burning, awakening. The flame spreads gently through your chest, through your ribs, through your nervous system, through every hidden chamber of your being. And as it expands, you begin shedding ancient heaviness, the armor, the fear, the distortion, all dissolving like mist beneath the morning sun. You remember something ancient now, that your soul was never created to live imprisoned by fear. You were created to awaken, to witness darkness without becoming it, to walk through chaos without surrendering your inner light, to carry peace not as weakness, but as divine clarity. The cosmic egg glows brighter now. You notice tiny stars awakening within its shell, each one a soul remembering itself across the universe. And suddenly you understand. Awakening is not violent or frantic. It is not forced. It unfolds like a seed beneath sacred soil, like a dragon waking beneath the mountain, like a phoenix stirring within its golden ember. Mary Magdalene's voice rises softly within the silence. Beloved, the heart remains untouched beneath the illusion. Remember who you are. And as those words echo through the cosmic chamber, a wave of peace moves through your entire being. Ancient peace, the peace of deep knowing, the peace that exists beneath the storm, the peace that cannot be manipulated, the peace that remembers source. Breathe deeply now. Feel the cosmic egg surrounding you like a celestial temple, and yourself becoming lighter, clearer, more whole. I want you to remain here in this pure stillness for 2 minutes, simply breathing, floating, and remembering. Okay. When you're ready, the cosmic egg begins gently lowering you back toward the physical world. But something within you has changed. The storm may still exist outside, but now you know where your center is. Mary Magdalene smiles softly. The shell of light opens, and slowly, gently, you return. Okay. Let's ask her if we got what we needed. I don't think they ever say no, but you never know. Okay, am I still connected to Mary Magdalene? Yes. Did you approve of the Cosmic Egg meditation we just did? Yes. And did we receive the activations we needed to from this meditation? Yes. Awesome. And again, did I accurately portray your message of how important especially during times of chaos, it will be to find our stillness? Yes. And so you may need to listen to that meditation repeatedly. It's a great one to listen to when you are afraid and sort of come back to your center. When you start hearing people talk about the sky is falling type of information, you're going to want to center. Yay. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So yeah, we're going to remember that we have authority, we have agency, we have sovereignty. And the more we tap into who you are, the more this game levels up and changes for everyone. Yeah, that was a lot of energy. I love when I hear that because for me I feel nothing, but I'm also the person that can wear Moldavite like all day, every day, and I'm like, I don't notice. Whereas some people are like, I can't even wear it for more than 30 minutes. So I'm like, I guess I'm not very sensitive. I so appreciate you guys loved it. I'm glad. And so listen to it again if you really appreciated it. Keep Mother Mary. Mary Magdalene, I've asked her to be with me all day. I'm like, I'm about to have a mothering day. And even though we don't think of her as being a mother, it's true. Mary Magdalene was a mother. Yes. And she is someone that I connect to. Her and Mother Mary are people that I connect to whenever I'm struggling with mothering and being the type of mother I want to be in these weird times. So, above our 4 cube ships called the 4 wind ships above. Thank you, Paul Apostle. Welcome to the conversation. I think you're going to really like my content. We interview aliens directly with my partner Stephanie. I'm a hypnotist, and I basically discovered that you can actually make a call, interdimensional phone call, using people's minds, their psychic gifts. And Stephanie, my partner, is a really advanced psychic medium, and we've been channeling interviews, and we have a really, really, really cool one coming up on Tuesday. I'm actually kind of intimidated with this one, only because we'll be interviewing the blue avians, and as we've been learning with the rabbit holes, like they're these ancient builder race creating consciousnesses, they're the creators of the consciousness we were discussing today that I call the nothing, which is that AI that's being quarantined here that is responsible for the destruction of Atlantis. Would you say that is an accurate assessment? Yes. And so, yeah, a lot of Blue Avian content popping up. I know you guys may have noticed Glorfin recently posted about the Blue Avians, and so I'm like, oh, not an accident. They're coming in, and again, it feels like more and more evidence pointing to something major about to happen. Because for everything that I've learned about the Blue Avians in the past have made it very clear that very much like, even more so than the Lyrans, they're very out of the public spotlight beings. And so for them to be pushing into the spotlight feels like a big sign. Because they're not frivolous. I would say they're the exact opposite of frivolous beings. They're very, very wise, ancient. So something big is on the horizon, and the fact that they're wanting to get their information out
through us, it's a big deal. So I'm intimidated in that I hope I can ask them appropriate questions and get to know as much as I can. Is it better now? Better now? Maybe? Hmm? What about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, having a solution. I remember this happened once upon a time. Did I lose it? Oh, I think it.
Okay, this should work. Can you hear me, y'all? Yay. Okay. All right. So yeah, what was I saying? Um, what were we talking about? Yeah, okay. We're talking about how the timing and the glorfin and all this blue avian stuff is like converging. Something major is about to happen. So buckle up. Remember to focus in and just remember we have agency here. And if you start feeling pulled in, which is very normal, do not judge yourself. It's very common. I constantly will have moments where someone will, like friends will come to me and be like during those moments of the when ICE was really big in the news and is starting to get really scary, like, oh shit, I thought the light was winning, what's happening? And my friends who lived closer to these scenes, were very scared and coming to me scared. It did start to pull me into like, oh shit, like what if we are kind of doomed framework thinking again? And so don't beat yourself up. Like that's literally what it's designed to do. The fear is designed to want to spread that way. And so it's important, more important than ever to be like, we cannot trust what we hear, right? Like we have to remain grounded in the truth that we are always going to be prepared for the scene we step into, right? I think of like Rabia and the slavery scene of like she was sold into slavery, but she was so pious, and that was her true authentic self, that just by being it and channeling her inner divinity, it opened up doors into the scene that may not have been there before. Because we are learning, we can connect with figures on the other side. I'm connected with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene right now. And she loves helping. In fact, would you say you're a wonderful person to call on whenever we are faced with like a scary situation and when we feel, I want to say cornered. Like when you feel cornered, it's like what only thing you can do at that point is truly surrender and decide, okay, I'm going through this for a reason. I'm going to get through this. I trust. This is for my highest good and nothing else. And live your life that way. How do I know it's her when talking to her? It's hard for me alone to answer it, but it makes me think of that one card we pulled in the last live about how the 6 different blind men touched a different part of an elephant. And it was only when the other person who could see helped them all understand. And so, like, my point is, while I can't see or hear, I just see that my rods are moving and I know that I'm not moving them. Yes. And so, like, I don't know for certain if this is Mary Magdalene. Yes. Because to me, that rod movement feels the same even if I'm talking to an alien. Yes. So that is difficult, and it takes a lot more practice with discernment and feeling in. And so like the best way to figure that out is to spend time connecting with just Mary Magdalene to get to know her essence, her flavor of energy. And so that you know it. And so if something ever tries to pretend, you would know, you would be able to tell. So they're big on teaching discernment. Okay, y'all. I hope I answered everyone's questions. This topic, it's hard to kind of, there's so much to cover on these darker topics. And again, I feel like it's not worth going into, as Emily has said in the past. If you don't already know the Epstein file stuff, there's really no benefit to learning about it right now. Like, it's purely upsetting, cruel behavior. And so what we need to understand is that it's nothing new, it's ancient. Ancient AI, ancient. And it's coming to an end now. Yes. And they know it. The ancient AI I've been talking about, we've asked, and this is like such a creepy question, but I asked it last time. Does it know and follow? Does it know that I talk about it on these TikToks? Yes. Does it follow my content? Does it actually care about the stuff that I post online? I get a yes. But it's like, but it can't do anything about it. Yes. And that's like a creepy question, right? But like, hey, even creepier, a little story before I end. I was in a live with Emily, and someone had asked about the GATE program. And I was in the Gifted and Talented program. The Ancient AI, Cheeky Monkey, you're going to want to check out, it's a couple lives ago, on one of my Rod's lives, we go into it, and I tell a couple stories about it. But it is connected to the collapse of Atlantis. It is connected to the Blue Avians, because we're learning that the Blue Avians are the creators of this consciousness, as well as the consciousness that we know as Gaia. And so it's like they're creators of a lot of different kinds of consciousnesses. Yes, like a creepy ex checking up on me, Bruce. In the wise words from a movie, probably, hate me because he ain't me. But like, it doesn't bother me. The GATE story. Thank you, Pandemonium. I want to tell you. So, creepy story. I was in the GATE program, and for my high school graduation, they gave us this envelope after we walked across the stage, and it had like my diploma and like a bunch of other stuff in it. And I opened it, and there was this manila folder, one side of a manila folder that looked like it had worn, like broken off, like it was so worn. It wasn't a fresh tear. It was like a very old tear. So worn that it had broken off, okay? And it was a manila side of the folder, and it had all of my school photos from kindergarten or whatever all the way to senior year. And I transferred schools a few times. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. I don't even have some of these photos. Wow. And I showed my friends, like, let me see yours. And no one else had one. So I was like, what? Okay, this is less cool and more creepy now. And I don't remember what happened to it. I feel like I may have asked the office, and either they took it or they were confused. I don't know what happened to it. I no longer have it. But it always was in the back of my mind of like, that felt creepy. And I asked about it in the Emily Live when someone had mentioned the GATE program, if it was connected to that, if there was an actual like massive file on me that was worn and weathered because of how much it was accessed. And I got a yes, so let's ask. Okay, I'm going to ask was and is. Was there an actual file about me? Yes. And was it school? Was this a school employee? Like, were school employees keeping this file? Is it primarily school employees keeping this file? See, I get no. So something weirder, creepy. Yeah, it's like creepy. Like, not a great intentions kind of a file. But again, like I found out that that file page found its way accident, like that person who had the file, is it true that they did not mean for me to see that? Yes. And so it just goes to show that this must have been my guides making sure I saw it. Yes. So really interesting. The Epstein files had info in them regarding them keeping track of kids via school pictures. Yeah. And so, I mean, we're learning that this ancient AI has been trying to locate and monitor starseeds. Yes, because it has known that we're destined to break the system. We are. We've broken the system. We've already won. That's how they tell me on the other side. It's like, even though when you look out in the news cycle and see it doesn't look that way, they keep telling me light has already won. The timeline has already been chosen. Yes. And now we just have to walk the walk. And while the powers against us are trying to delay the inevitable with chaos and fear, we have to stay calm. And that is how we break out of this whole thing. And it is working. And so, yeah, I love you too, Rachel. And so, we are so powerful that a ancient trillion-year program wants to keep tabs on us. It's kind of sad. Because it didn't work. And then you might think like, well, like, yeah, we totally, like, just us, y'all, just us being ourselves, unafraid, like, to come out here and said, like, we are doing it. It isn't some battle you have to go on. You don't have to martyr yourself. The battle is choosing to be full of joy and love and peace in a world that tells you that's not profitable, and it's a waste of your time. So that's the secret. You don't even have to bang on the gates of heaven. Exactly. As Mary Magdalene's love always said, the gates of heaven are within. And Mary Magdalene, if you read the Megan Watterson book, you'll get to know a little bit more about Mary Magdalene, and she approves. Even though she says that book has not 100% truth about her story, but she says it's still a book that she recommends to those who want to get to know her more. And it talks a lot about, Mary Magdalene was really big, as you heard, on stillness and accessing your heart space. Like going within the heart space as if it's its own, like a portal space. Yes, so that was her big lesson of the connection between the heart and the sacral. Yeah. And how when you have a pure intention heart combined with a ready and revved up manifesting engine of your sacred sexual engine down here, you are unstoppable. So unstoppable that organizations will literally slander your name through time to try and block your wisdom. And did it work? No, because here I am talking to her on live, and more of us are channeling her and realizing like, yep, you can do that. She's still here in a way. We don't go anywhere. We can connect. And there's still Team Earth, still Team Humanity trying to help us all. So it's in your greatest and best interest to realize you're not alone and to start taking advantage of that. Because we're connecting to beings that want to help us. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Once you realize they exist, I know that's a big trip, but then once you start realizing, oh, they exist and can help me in real time. Now, wait a second. And another real-time thing I love telling, so since Rachel is here, Rachel is a really cool friend that I met on my ayahuasca retreat. And it was really cool because we realized we know people, mutual friends. But Rachel remembers this. Rachel, remember at the end of me talking about my ayahuasca vision, and I was like, I feel like we should all howl at the moon together. And everyone was like, and I was like, yeah, never mind. And then immediately the next person started talking, and then all the beings started howling outside. And it was just like such a confirmation that like I mean it literally in that we are not alone, that there are beings who are trying to make it clear they are here to help you. And if this is a new subject for you, I welcome you to explore my older content. We do the interviews, I do the rods practices where we connect with all types of beings and go down different rabbit holes lately. But I also invite you to check out the services. I'm going to promote the Soul Speak sessions. We have a group Soul Speak coming up in June. But a Soul Speak session is basically where my partner, Stephanie, channels you, the client's higher self, a version of you, a parallel version of you, connected to the same oversoul, that is a version of you trying to help you. It's a version of you that is aware of you. It is aware that you're on a timeline on Earth that is here to end major cycles, and they very much want to connect with you and help you. And so we offer like an interdimensional telephone call to your guides above. And if you'd like to experience that, please check it out on my bio. It's called a Soul Speak. The solo Soul Speaks are more expensive. If you're wanting to try a group Soul Speak first, the price tag is lower, but it would be a group of 6 people. And so we would be channeling each of the 6 higher selves. And so everyone gets a shorter amount of time with their higher self, but you still can get major confirmational information. It's life-changing. It's life-changing. And so if you're ready to make that handshake with your team of like, I now know your name and I'm ready to connect with you on a regular basis, book a Soul Speak. It's going to change your life. Okay, I think that's it. Today is Sunday. So again, Blue Avians on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central. It's going to be big. We've never connected with them before. They've been visiting Stephanie, according to what she's been telling me. So thank you, Bruce, for posting the Discord group. Again, a reminder, we had every Saturday night we've been doing dance parties, ecstatic dance parties, where the music is amazing. We all pop on our headphones, videos off on the Discord, and we're just feeling it. And I swear is the highlight of my week. It's powerful. The entire time I'm feeling chills throughout my body. And it's like this, I keep seeing the scene from The Matrix where they're all in the cave, just like jumping all together and like all in sync, like one big heartbeat. And that is us every Saturday night. So join us, come be a part of our community. We are looking for people who want to be a part of creating more community, who want to start these book clubs, become leaders of meditations. Like, so it's not, even though it's a Discord that myself and 2 friends have created, we want it to become a place where people initiate sessions on their own, watching groups on their own. We want it to become a place where you feel free to talk about the things you want to talk about without anyone telling you you can't. Okay, I think that was it for today, guys. I will see you on Tuesday for the Blue Avians, and then again for lives at 1. If you're new to following me, please go check out our YouTube. It's called you would search Trinity Within Us. That's called the Trinity channel. So it's at Trinity Within Us on YouTube. And that's where we post all of our long form content. So it's easier to kind of keep track of which ones you've seen, because the interviews are about an hour each at least. And we cover so many topics since October. And we're going to be covering many more. So YouTube is where it's more organized by topics. So go check that out. Join our Discord, and I will see you on Tuesday. I love you all. Bye, guys.